Okay, so the map is not the territory. This is a concept that was developed by the mathematician Alfred Korzybski. And what it basically means is that the map or model of something is not the same as the thing itself or the thing it represents. So the map of a country or a piece of land is not the same as actually going to visit the country or the land, which of course would be more experiential. The map is not the territory. But it goes a lot deeper than that. So for example, take the word hot, H-O-T. Without knowing the meaning of the word or without experiencing the meaning of what hot means, the word hot is pretty abstract. So if you have a child and you tell the child, don't go near the fire, or be careful, don't burn yourself, that's hot. And if the child has never experienced hot, that word means nothing to the child. So the child would need to experience burning to know what hot means. That would be the territory. So what we do, we tend to simplify life by making all these maps and models to explain certain things or to build certain things. We create these symbols, these representations, these models, and then we get too caught up in it. We forget the fact that these are just symbols and abstractions and models. And these represent the territory but are not the territory themselves. But we mistake the map for the territory. We get too caught up in it. So, for example, if you're reading an autobiography of someone in the past, Steve Jobs or Einstein, for example, you can learn a lot from the autobiography of the individual, and you can pick up lots of nuggets of information, but that is not the same as actually living the life of the person whose autobiography that is based upon, whose life that is based upon. So an autobiography will tell you a few things about the person's life, but not the entirety of that person's life and how he or she lived it. It's the same with reading how to do something from a book. If you're learning how to do something and you just read it, it's not the same as actually getting your hands dirty and doing it for yourself. And we also tend to create these mind maps of the mind. So for example, if you send someone a text message and the person doesn't respond for some reason, an hour goes by, 2 hours go by, 24 hours go by, and you have not received a message back from this person. And then let's say 2 days later, you get a text message saying that they had misplaced their phone, but they found it. So you created this idea in your head that maybe this person didn't want to talk to you. So you created this map, this idea, this abstraction based on something that wasn't true. So that's The map is not the territory. Also, our sense perceptions can give us a false representation of the territory. It can give us a false representation of the world as we see it, as we perceive it. Optical illusions are a good example of this. Colors can be a good example of this as well. Sometimes we mistake the color for what it actually is. Also, how do you know that your perception is giving you a true representation of the world, of reality? How does the world appear in the absence of your five senses? Think about that one. If you have an apple, it appears a certain way, it tastes a certain way, it smells a certain way. That tells you it's an apple. But get rid of the five senses one by one. What are you holding now? Is it an apple? What is the essence of that apple? What is the appleness of that apple like in the absence of the five senses? So, when we're talking about maps and models and symbols, we should notice that we tend to get too caught up in our models and our maps, and we should look beyond these models at what it's pointing to, the territory in this case.